Got it. Here's a complete 5,000-word YouTube video script for your channel Kindness Stories. Based on the title you gave, Bullies chop shy girls' culture hair she scalped them with same blade. This script has no bracketed letters or headings and includes a short channel intro, woven naturally into the beginning. Welcome to Kindness Stories, the place where real-life tales remind us that compassion, courage, and justice can turn even the darkest moments into something unexpectedly powerful. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and join our growing family that believes kindness can change the world, one story at a time. Now, settle in for this true story of a quiet girl, cruel bullies, a brutal betrayal, and the astonishing way she turned her deepest humiliation into a lesson that no one would ever forget. It all began in a small suburban high school tucked away behind rows of tidy houses, white fences, and wide tree-lined streets that looked picture-perfect to anyone driving by. But for 14-year-old Maya, that same school was more like a daily battlefield. Maya was quiet, painfully shy, and belonged to a tight-knit family who had moved there only 2 years ago. She was different in so many ways. Her family spoke their native language at home. She brought homemade food for lunch. She wore long traditional skirts on special days, and most of all, she kept her hair long, really long. It was her pride, her connection to her roots, her grandmother's legacy. Her hair wasn't just hair, it was a symbol of her identity and heritage. Maya's mother had always told her, "Your hair carries our ancestors' stories. Don't let anyone make you feel ashamed of who you are." So even when kids whispered about her or giggled behind her back in the cafeteria, Maya never thought to cut her hair. She would gently tie it up in a braid every morning, smoothing the strands with coconut oil her mother rubbed it lovingly the night before. It was her armor, even when she felt invisible, even when the laughter stung like tiny needles in her heart. Maya's tormentors were led by a girl named Kelsey, the classic popular queen bee. Kelsey was rich, pretty, and always surrounded by an entourage of girls who mimicked her every move. She liked things neat, pretty, and all-American. No spicy food smells, no strange languages, no people who didn't fit her mold. From the very first week, Kelsey decided Maya was an easy target. It started small, snide comments about her lunch, about the clothes her mom made her wear, about her accent when she spoke in class. Maya tried to block it all out, burying herself in books and daydreams of faraway places where she could be herself, without fear. But Kelsey wasn't satisfied with whispers and giggles. She needed a show, something big, something everyone would remember. So she came up with a plan that would crush Maya once and for all. She bragged about it to her friends, who cackled and nodded, thrilled to play along. They decided they would strike on Spirit Week, a time when everyone dressed up and pretended to be school-spirited and unified. How ironic, Maya would think later. The day they celebrated unity was the day they tore her apart. It was Wednesday, Wacky Hair Day, and everyone was wearing wigs, crazy colors, glitter, or hair gel shaped like unicorn horns. Maya came to school with her long braid wrapped in a scarf, not wanting to draw attention to herself, but her very attempt to stay invisible made her stand out even more. Kelsey spotted her during lunch. She and her gang cornered Maya in the girls' bathroom, their eyes sparkling with mean delight. "Take off that scarf, Maya. Let's see what your wacky hair looks like," Kelsey sneered, twirling a strand of her own glossy curls between her fingers. Maya's heart raced. She shook her head and clutched the scarf tighter. She knew they wouldn't just stop at teasing today. She tried to push past them, but they blocked the door. One of Kelsey's sidekicks, Jordan, pulled out a pair of shiny scissors from her backpack. "Come on, it's Wacky Hair Day. Let's make you look special." Maya's breath caught in her throat. She pleaded with them, tears springing to her eyes. But Kelsey's laughter only got louder, echoing off the tiled walls. Before Maya could react, the girls grabbed her arms and pinned her to the sink. Kelsey yanked the scarf off her head, revealing the thick black braid that fell to her waist. She wrapped her fingers around it, pretending to admire the silky strands. Maya whimpered, begging them not to do it, but Kelsey just smiled wickedly, raised the scissors, and with one cruel snip, she chopped Maya's braid right off. Maya screamed. The sound ricocheted through the bathroom, but the roar of lunchtime chatter outside drowned her out. The braid fell to the floor like a dead snake. Kelsey held it up triumphantly, waving it around like a trophy. "Now you look wacky enough for today," she taunted. The other girls laughed, high-pitched and cruel. Then they dumped the severed braid into the trash, snapped a picture, and shoved Maya to the floor before strutting out like nothing happened. Maya stayed curled up on the cold towels. For what felt like forever, her sobs muffled by her trembling hands. She felt like her soul had been ripped away along with her hair. When she finally stood up and looked in the mirror, she didn't recognize the girl staring back. Her hair was jagged and uneven, some strands sticking out at odd angles. It was more than just hair. It was her history, her culture, her pride, and now it was gone, lying in the trash can like it was worthless. Word spread fast. By the time the final bell rang, everyone knew. Some kids snickered behind her back. Some looked at her with pity, but no one stood up for her. Not one person told the teacher. Not one person reported Kelsey and her gang. Maya's family was devastated. Her mother wept when she saw the butchered hair, then held Maya tight and promised her that someday this pain would be turned into strength. But right then, Maya didn't believe it. She shut herself in her room for days, refusing to go back to school. Her parents wanted to press charges, but the principal brushed it off as kids being kids. Kelsey's parents were powerful donors, so the school did nothing. Maya knew she'd have to face them again, every single day, with everyone staring at her. But something changed in that darkness. As she sat alone in her room, staring at the mirror, Maya felt a tiny spark flicker inside her. Maybe it was anger. Maybe it was the spirit of her grandmother, whispering to her that her culture was not so easily destroyed. When Maya returned to school the next week, her hair was chopped, short but neat. Her mother had helped her even it out, and Maya now wore a small bun at the nape of her neck. But it wasn't the hair that people noticed, it was Maya's eyes. They weren't timid anymore. They were sharp, clear, and focused. Kelsey and her crew still snickered when they saw her, but Maya didn't flinch. Instead, she walked right up to them in the cafeteria. The entire room fell silent. "Kelsey," Maya said, her voice steady, "you stole something that didn't belong to you, but you didn't break me. You just gave me the blade I needed." Kelsey rolled her eyes. "Whatever, freak." But Maya wasn't talking to her anymore. She had joined the student council a week earlier, and she used her voice. She filed an official complaint, not with the school, but with the local press. A reporter picked up her story. It spread like wildfire. An innocent girl, her cultural heritage stolen in an act of bullying, and a school that did nothing. Parents were outraged. Social media erupted. What started as humiliation became a rallying cry for change. And Maya didn't stop there. She started a campaign called the Braid Project. She shared her story online, encouraging other girls and boys who felt ashamed of their cultural roots to share photos of their traditional hairstyles and the stories behind them. Thousands responded, from braids to turbans, dreadlocks to hijabs. Kids from around the world shared what made them proud. Maya's story appeared in the local news, then national, then global. Kelsey and her gang weren't prepared for the backlash. They were suspended after the school finally caved under the public pressure. Kelsey's parents threatened lawsuits, but the evidence was there: Maya's bravery, the photo of her braid in the trash, and the overwhelming support from the community. Maya didn't want revenge. Not really. She didn't want Kelsey to suffer. She wanted her to understand. So, when the school asked her what punishment she thought was fair, Maya said, "I want them to know what it feels like to lose something precious and learn to make it right." Instead of expulsion, Kelsey and her friends had to spend months volunteering with Maya's new charity project. They visited cultural centers, interviewed people about their heritage, and organized events to celebrate diversity. It wasn't easy for them. They faced the same judgment they once dished out. But slowly, begrudgingly, they began to see the impact of their cruelty.